Okay, welcome, Meg. Nice to meet you. First time speaking.
Nice to meet you too. Thanks for having me.
First, why don't you just introduce yourself, your name, what do you do, and we'll take it from there.
Awesome. Yeah. So my name's Meg O'Donnell, and I'm actually a senior account manager slash consultant at Eligeo, where I spend a lot of time with my clients, making sure that their workflows are set up correctly. But I also do a lot of business consulting to make sure that they are set up for success from the beginning.
Cool. What is eligeo? Do you know the name?
Well, kind of. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stories behind it. But my understanding is it kind of just came up out of the blue somewhere, as something that was meant to be unique and memorable. And at this point, it's just kind of evolved into who we are and has actually created our mantra as well, which is build different so that we stand out and we're unique.
Very nice. So is there a particular industry you're specialized in? You said your clients. Who are your clients?
Yeah, of course. We work with a lot of different industries, but we specialize in construction and manufacturing.
Interesting. So do you Um, like how big is like the CRM use within those
Within those industries, yeah.
yeah,
I honestly, it very large, because obviously every company, no matter what type, needs something to manage their relationships. It's, a typical CRM. People think that it's a sales tool only, but we actually see it utilized across a lot of different use cases, for relationship managing throughout the industry. So,
nice. And is there a reason why you're like you said mostly focused on that or maybe just the majority of your customers are from that vertical? I would think just intuitively this is kind of a low tech industry,
mhm.
which is makes more sense to use something like to move along and get with the times as they say. But how come you got specifically into that vertical?
Yeah, there's actually a couple of reasons. One is that most of us come from the industry ourselves, so we've got a really good understanding of what those different businesses are seeing daily, and the areas that really just aren't hitting the mark, especially in the software industry. There's a serious gap in customizable software. So we see a lot of people using something like Excel, or a very rigid legacy system that doesn't move and change with their business. So what we are trying to do is fill that gap with the flexible, customizable solutions that they're able to use to grow and scale, and uses their single point of truth across all of their organization.
Nice. And would you say then that the reason why they choose you is because you come from that industry? Is
Yeah,
that your thing?
I think that's a part of it for sure. We're able to speak the language and understand those complexities that, maybe people without that background wouldn't. But at the same time, we also really lean into building relationships with our clients to make sure that we're really understanding their business and what it makes them unique, so that we can make sure that they're building this in a long-term scalable way.
Nice. And so obviously I'm speaking on behalf of Monday CRM. So is there and I know like a lot of your users are the ones using Monday CRM. So what would you say the reason why they're choosing Monday CRM?
Oh, that's an easy one. It's so customizable and it's easy to use. So anyone from, anybody that has a technical background can use it, but also if, you don't have a technical background and picking up your phone is difficult, sometimes it's a good solution for anyone, anywhere. And it's fast to deploy, it's easy for them to change on the fly, and in the construction industry, things change every day, and it needs to be easy to change, and they don't have to call someone special to do that for them, they can do that themselves.
Very nice. Is there like, I don't know, like a moment or a story or something that you remember with the implementation of Monday or just in general the use of it from one or more of your clients?
I think the one that always stands out to me, and we see it a lot, so it's not a specific moment, so to speak, but the aha moment that they typically have when they realize after we've gone through their business processes that they've got, sometimes up to 10 hours, but most often 3 to 4 hours of just admin reporting that they're doing, pulling from multiple different softwares just to be able to give a holistic view of what's going on in their business. And then they're like, "Oh, wait, you can automate that? Cool." Or we can create a dashboard and we can send it to who needs to see it, right? There's a lot of opportunity for us to reduce time for them, and that's always the big aha moment. And they're like, "Oh, I think this is great. This is exactly what we needed."
Yeah, I think we're kind of so into all the like us, meaning people within the SaaS industry are so used to like, oh, this feature, that feature. But then when you probably look at people who make that big leap, the first big leap, it's probably like huge to see, especially when it's so like if it's in a few clicks, if it's easy for the, or easier than they expected or stuff like that.
Exactly, for sure.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, so you know obviously the platform really well. What is your like favorite thing to do or the favorite feature with Monday CRM?
Oh, my favorite feature would probably be the emails and activity AI summary because having a sales background, but also being from the construction industry, you spend a lot of time trying to understand what happened in the past. So being able to quickly just click that and see exactly what's going on in a few seconds versus having to scroll through and find exactly what you need to see in order to have a meaningful conversation with that client or account.
Very nice. So what is like the most typical or popular use case? Is it the one that you shared with the aha moment, or is there like other maybe just the general go-to reasons that people come to you or that you deliver and it's just what they need?
Yeah, no, for sure. Recently, I think the biggest one that we've seen is RFP and tender management is one area of the business.
Can you
And
explain a little bit for
yeah,
those who are not aware of the acronyms?
yeah, no, it's a request for proposal or a request for information, right? So it's very common in the construction industry is that's a way that you kind of bid to a project, and it's a cumbersome process, and it's very hard, especially when you're working as a general contractor, that you need to talk to both the client as well as subcontractors to keep that relationship loop going. And we've created a solution that gives them the ability to quickly see where everything's going and at once and see statuses and changes and communicate internally and externally about what's going on. So that's typically what we see as like the entry point into Monday. They're kind of coming to us to try to solve for that because most of them are again using either a rigid legacy program or an Excel spreadsheet to track those things. So we help them see that inside of Monday, and then typically from there it bridges over into the work management side where they actually start to manage the projects themselves in the portfolio solution.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, so if we flip it over, what would you say something that people do wrong or like badly on but when using CRM in general, even maybe Monday specifically, like how would you improve or you see something that people constantly trying to do something that just doesn't make sense?
Yeah, no, that's always a good question. I think the one that I kind of have to talk through with a client, a lot of clients, is that to stop overcomplicating it. Um, a lot of people want a lot of different types of reporting, right? We've got everywhere inside of the industry that wants to have a reporting of some type, and they get stuck in the weeds and try to overcomplicate what they're actually trying to do. Um, so taking a step back and understanding the big picture and what we actually need to see versus all of the small little nuances, as important as they are, We don't want to overcomplicate a CRM and then have dirty data or incomplete data because then you're not getting an accurate representation of your business.
Very nice. I like that one. So what's your Monday hack? Like the one that you're like, oh, this is my move. I always set this up in a particular way, or I like something, that maybe others don't know.
I think it's a very underrated feature of Monday, but conditional label validation. Setting that up every time consistently inside of this CRM is huge because, again, dirty data, nobody wants that. Nobody wants incomplete data. And it keeps your data clean while you're working on it versus having to go back in and make status changes or saying, oh, you forgot to do this. We're making sure we're getting that data point every single time.
I like that. So you're dealing with sales, or you're dealing with salespeople. What's your sales hot take?
Stop using Excel. Please
So
stop using
hot.
Excel. I love Excel. I have a place in my heart for it. But that's a static data that it's not active. And static data just is going to give you a static relationship, whereas active data is going to give you an active relationship.
Oh, okay. I need to quote that somewhere. Put it on somewhere here in the office. Have you ever seen any like crazy setups that you're coming in as you're helping with implementing, or maybe it's a client that you haven't spoken in a while, and then you come in and you're like, what is this? Like, what did you do here? Have you ever had a situation like that?
I mean, yes, haven't we all? But I mean, I think the craziest one that we're actually we're in the process of setting it up now. It's a multi-tiered codependent relationship management tool that they're doing. There's a lot of different levels. So we're actually creating, I think, 4 or 5 different CRMs inside of one instance that are all interconnected so that way all of the different areas of the business can communicate and have again that holistic view across the org. But it wasn't something we knew we would be able to do right off the bat. We can, and it's fantastic, and it's working really well. But it's intense, but it's a super smart way of making sure that everybody knows exactly what's going on, and you can do quick touch points with those people throughout their life cycle. So
That's really cool. I think when we build this thing, it's like it's an open platform, right? It has all the features, and you never know how it's going to be used. You have something in mind, obviously, you're going towards something, but then someone comes in with this crazy, obviously, idea or use case, and you're like, all right, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that one out.
and I haven't yet really seen anything we can't figure out. And that's one of the
Amazing.
most fantastic things about Monday, right? Like if you have that as an idea, we can make it happen.
Cool. So you come in, there's a new client, you come in, you're looking at their setup. What's the first thing, like you make an audit of what they already have currently? What's your go-to things to look at before you start coming in with your own solutions, obviously?
Yeah, of course. I mean, my first thing to always check on is the relationships between the contacts and the accounts to making sure that, and their opportunities or whatever it is that they're tracking to make sure that those are connected properly. But at the end of the day, too, right? I like to sometimes take the top-down approach, right? Are we getting the reporting that we need? And what is that? Because if we're getting bad reporting, right, we've got something disconnected there. So what do we need to do in order to connect that back so that you can get that view?
Got it. So, final question. Um, how do you define success? What are you looking, you're touching base obviously with customers. After a while, you have a certain process, and as we all have in our own Monday dashboards, there's a goal somewhere that we need to reach. How do you measure it? How do you define it?
I define success if we're able to follow the 2-click rule. That's something that we've established in our business not recently, like a year ago. But if we can get a meaningful update in 2 clicks, if we can update the CRM in 2 clicks or less, that is success. And if we're getting the reporting that we need, but we're able to get that information in less than 2 clicks, that's success.
So that's where all those automations come in.
Yes, all the automations, all the colors, and the easy, simple to use workflows.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. This has been quick and insightful and very helpful. I'm sure our eventual listeners will enjoy it as well.